Let's go into the second day of problems, or the second set of problems that we're going to potentially see on the final exam. And again, remember that all these problems are not in any particular order. So you just want to make sure that you are clear with your notes so that you can use them to be able to figure out where everything is. I'm trying to keep most of the problems that are similar together as much as I possibly can. Okay, so graph 4x minus 8y equals 32. So the easiest way to graph this one is to solve for y. And that's because then we have the intercept, the y-intercept, and then we have the slope. So it's a lot easier to do that. But actually, now that I say that, it actually would be easier to solve for the intercepts. So if I want to find the y-intercept, I would make x 0. So what I would do over here, if I'm going through and trying to solve for y, is I would make my x 0 and try to figure out what this value is. So I just have to plug in a 0 here. So that becomes 0. So I have minus 8y equals 32. And actually, this is way easier. Divide both sides by negative 8. Those two are going to cancel. So y equals, and that's going to be negative 4. So that would be a negative 4 right there. And then to find the x-intercept, I make y equal to 0. I'm trying to find this number here, so I'm going to plug in a 0 for this one. So I get 4x equals, this is way easier, 4x equals 32, and divide both sides by 4. So x equals 8. So then I have my two intercepts. And what's really nice is 0, negative 4, and 8, 0. So that would be, if I'm graphing it, 0, negative 4 would be down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all I have to do then is find the graph that has the 2 points there and has a line drawing through it. So it would look like that. Okay, number 16. So find the slope. So now what we want to do is we want to find the slope between these 2 points or through these 2 points. Remember that it is the slope equation is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's all we're looking for. I'm going to pick this as 0.1. This one is 0.2. It doesn't matter which one I pick, but just be careful. Make sure you do the y's on top. So negative 3 minus 1. So negative 3 minus 1, and then the x is on bottom. So then it would be 8 minus a negative 4. Make sure you put parentheses around things to make it easier. I could have done that just as easily. And so this would stay minus 3 minus 1, which is negative 4. This would become 8 plus 4. So that would be negative 4 over 12, which is negative 1/3. So there's my slope right there. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. So another find the slope through. So same thing, same equation that we did above. So we're going to do, let's make this 0.2 though, and this one 0.1 because it doesn't matter. So then we have negative 1 minus 5. So we subtract the y's, divided by subtracting the x's, 4 minus 4. Okay, so that gives me negative 6. Oops, got it over 0. Of course, this is undefined or infinity. So they mean the same thing mathematically right now, but eventually you're going to learn that that's just an infinite value. So remember, if the zero's in the denominator, it's undefined. If the zero's in the numerator, then it's 0. That's the difference between those two. Okay. Moving on to this one, what is the rate of change? Well, what's nice is that the rate of change is the same thing as the slope. So we're still going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's supposed to be a 2 there. It says, what's the rate of change from 2007 to 2022? Now, your problem is going to have a lot more words, but it's pretty much exactly the same. So we just have to pick which one is which. You may not have a table. You may just have information. You can create your own table and make sure that it matches up with the proper year and the proper number. So y2, we're picking y2 and y's. X's are usually the years, so just kind of keep that in mind. So that's what we're going to deal with the X's. But in here, we're going to have 185 minus 164 over 2022 minus 2007. So that would be 21 over, and if we subtract that, that's going to be over 15. It's 15 years between those two. And then you can see we can reduce this down. So 3 goes into both of them. So 3 goes into 21 7 times. 3 goes into 15 5 times. So my answer would be 7/5 would be my rate of change. Okay. And I think, no, we'll continue on because we're just graphing a line that goes through. This is actually pretty straightforward. So if we have a line that goes through 1, 4 and has a slope of -2, we know it's going to go down. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually go up one more. So 1, 4 would be located right here. The slope of -2 is really -2 over 1. That means down 2, and we always go right. If you remember, I've talked about that over and over and over again. So you use the negative to either go up or down. You always go right. So we're going to go down 2. So we're going to go down from here, 1, 2, and over 1. So we're going to go right here. So my equation will look like that. Okay, remember that a slope that's negative is going to go down. So if you have choices, you can eliminate any lines that are going up. Okay, let's do one more. So write a linear equation that has a slope of -1/2 and a y-intercept of -3. Pretty straightforward. So we have y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is your y-intercept. So what we're going to do is we're going to have y equals, my slope is -1/2 x, my b value is -3. There's my equation. I don't have to do anything more. And we'll go to the next video.